Now it's time for you to get married, and you're thinking you need to take someone or choose someone in your church. I mean, where else is the most suitable place for you to choose a life partner? But I'm sorry to disappoint you. You are going to make the wrong decision. This is why I brought up this topic, the dark side of dating church women. Now, for many of us that don't know, the church is never at a perfection stage. And many of the people, women, men that are visiting the church are going there to get better. Think of it like an hospital that treats different or accept different patients. While you see someone that is having a terminal condition, you would see someone that was sick and is recovering. You would also see someone that came in through emergency and was responding to treatment. You would see someone also that is perfectly fine but just came in to do the regular checkups. Now, this is how the church looks like. This is why it is very, very important for men to know the dark side of dating in the church when they are looking for a life partner. Number one is the fact that you don't know the secret life of the women in the church. You don't even know the secret life of the woman in particular that you're chasing. Probably she's a church worker, maybe she's in the choir, she's in the ushering department, or she's a prayer warrior, or she's even a pastor. Because she's holding many of these positions, you're thinking that she's someone that, fulfills all characteristics, or someone we would call in the Bible a virtuous woman. This is not true, because most of the time, many of these members holding these positions are still in their recovery phases, so to say. Many of them have even lived life that even you as a man has never imagined. She could be a lesbian, she could be bisexual, she could be all sorts. She could have been run through by different men. She could have body count running from 10 to 20, and she's still fervent, prayerful, preaches well. In fact, sometimes the way she holds the mic alone lets you know that she has given many heads. But because you think that you met her in the church, you think that you've met the right person. Trust me, the church can mask so many things about its members, and its members also can mask so many things they don't want the church to know. So, how do you know all these things? Is by taking your time and also getting to know these people outside church. During the days I used to go to church back to back, there are people that I have seen outside the church, and I'm like, whoa, is this the same person I see in the church? I could remember the time I saw one of the ladies in the working department. I wouldn't want to mention the particular department. And I saw her in a very, very seductive outfit. She was wearing a top that was a see through, and she was wearing a very, very mini skirt, what I call micro mini skirt. I don't know where she was coming from, or I don't know where she was going to. In fact, when I saw her, I didn't even know she was the one. When I called her name, she was startled, surprised, shocked. And she was like, "What are you doing here?" And I asked her likewise, what are you doing here too? So since that day, discussions have been awkward between ourselves. When we see ourselves in the church, we just say hi, hi. We walk past. When we see ourselves outside, also, we just say hi, hi. So imagine I was interested in her and I thought probably, you know, there's something there. Maybe we should date or something. That would have been a very bad idea. There's a saying that clothings cover so many secrets that are best known within the four walls of your home. There are so many tattoos that have been gotten that you can never see because they are covered by clothes, especially the ones that are holding the highest positions in your church. What about piercing? Piercings that you have never thought could be done at the weirdest places. Exactly what you're thinking of, that is where they are. But clothings are covering them. Two is the fact that many of these women you're seeing in church, they have been in the streets. Yes, this is another dark side. And they are tired of the street. Now they are looking for husbands. So many of them, they go to the church, you know, settle in, give their lives to Christ, just to make sure they're able to pull in one innocent man and convince him about marriage. And so help me God, he falls into this trap, is doomed. Another dark side of dating church women is the fact that many of the church women or churchgoers that are women might not be sleeping around. Let's say they even used to, they stopped. But guess what? Their pastor is sleeping with them. I am not saying this happens in every church, but if your mind tells you there's something fishy about the relationship of a particular pastor and his church members, especially female church members, you're right. Sometimes it's even worse to the extent that many of these pastors are bisexual. So it means that in as much as they are able to sleep with women, get intimate with their church members, the female ones, they are also able to have intimacy with their male church members. And sometimes, because many of them are bisexual, it's kind of hard to be able to place it. And I'm not saying that sometimes there have to be proof. No, because these kind of relationship are very secretive. There have even been stories whereby women that are married get pregnant for their pastors, but make their husband think that they are the one responsible for the pregnancy. So underneath, it looks like this is her husband's child, but to her, she knows that that child doesn't belong to her husband, it belongs to her pastor. So that is another dark truth. If you're thinking that the church is such a perfect place to choose a wife, to choose a life partner, you might be wrong. The fourth one is the fact that pastors can be used to trap you in marriage or to trap you to get married. If you're a very successful man and you're thinking that the church is the perfect place for you to get a bride, and so help me, your pastor knows how much you earn, of course, by the amount of tithe you give, or somehow he knows probably you're a popular person, so he's able to know that this is what you are estimated to have, probably your net worth or something. Your pastor is going to convince you to get married to one of his church members. The way he is going to convince you to get married to one of his church members varies, and it depends on which one will work on you. Sometimes he can tell you that, you know, it's a revelation. He saw a revelation where, you know, it was shown that this is the woman you should get married to. Or he can even tell you that it's a prophecy, or he can even tell you he saw it in his dream. Trying to use different methods. And most of the time, the woman is going to be given to you, or is going to, you know, suggest to you, so to say, is a woman that, is fully submitted to him. So, which means that the moment you get married to her, whatever is in your purse, whatever you have, somehow it means that the church also own it. So let's say, for example, the church wants to build a new building and they're asking for contributions. The pastor can convince that lady, after she has gotten married to you, that he should, contribute a specific amount to the church. That is how you know you have been trapped. So when you get to a church and you're looking for someone to settle down with in that church, trust me, do not tell anyone that this is your motive, this is what you want to do, not even the pastor. Because if he knows, he's going to trap you with one of his church members. And finally, the church is blue pilled. If you're a man, you're a masculine man, you know your left from right. You know that you shouldn't simp. You know that, you know, your life, your purpose, and everything is important to you, and you decide to go to the church. There's likelihood along the way that you will be blue pilled. And trust me, when you are blue pilled, everything about your life doesn't matter again. Everything about the woman that you are about to marry, everything about women is the one that matters. Imagine a man that has his life in order, making good amount of money every month or every week, get trapped by marrying a church member, and all of a sudden he is being told that anything his wife asks for, he must provide it, or else is worse than an infidel. That is the kind of messages you will hear in church. Aside from this, when you marry a church member and you are being blue pilled in that church, there is nothing that you would do that would satisfy your woman or that church member. Trust me, there is nothing, because everything you must do is to satisfy. I hope you were able to learn one or two things from this video. Share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.